What happens when two dudes, one a retired Navy SEAL commander in Colorado Springs, and the other a hippie meditation teacher in New York City, get together to discuss living mindfully? That's a great question, because we don't know what will happen either. Raw, uncut, and unapologetic. Welcome to Men Talking Mindfulness with co-hosts John McCaskill and Will Schneider. Each week, we take an authentic dive into how mindfulness continually impacts our lives, deepens our relationships, and allows us to be emotionally alive. We filter all of our conversations through the man box, where we unpack how as men we are expected to act in society, how fighting the authentic human experience is exhausting and damaging, and how mindfulness can help. Now, on to the show.
Hey, welcome everybody back to another episode of Men Talking Mindfulness. Just me and John floating solo today. This is our episode number 22 about our pre-retreat anticipations, considerations, and our feelings. This Thursday, 2 days from now, John, we are going to meet the first time, which is like a momentous occasion. I think for us, as much as the audience, everyone's like, "You guys never met."
I know it's wild, dude.
That's something that's we're really excited about. And today in this episode, I don't know how long this episode will be. We're just going to talk about our feelings, our concerns, our excitement, our anxieties about taking this trip together and then going on this journey with psychedelics. And we're using this opportunity with psychedelics and this experience to expand our own consciousness and bond a little bit closer, John and I, which I'm excited to do. And I think that's going to be part of this as well, but also to, as a guinea pig for anybody out there that's looking to step into that psychedelic realm in order to, potentially, eradicate things or to bring things forth. So here we are, John. Welcome. There's my brother from another mother over there, Jon McCaskill, Colorado Springs. I'm in New York City. And let's kick this show off, John. Let's do this.
Let's do it. So yeah, a couple of announcements before we get too far into it. Super excited about the upcoming trip. This is obviously pre-recorded. If you're watching this, if you're listening to it, we're actually in Costa Rica right now as you're watching this. So this is pre-recorded, but super excited to be there. So this trip is in Costa Rica. Will and I, we've never met in person, so I'm super excited to meet Will in person, and be in Costa Rica for the psychedelic therapy retreat. And we're going to be capturing some of that retreat as allowed. We want to be considerate of the retreat itself, of the experience for ourselves and others. But we're going to capture some of that if allowed and share that with you in the next episode and on social media as we're able. And then over and above that, mindfulness and movement experience, the mindfulness and movement experience with Movement RX, Dr. T, Teresa Larson, and myself and Will and the team at Movement RX. That kicks off, the next cohort kicks off December 1st. To find out more about this program, again, developed by us and our partners at Movement RX, check out movement-rx.com/MTM. That's movement-rx.com/MTM. Or join us for one of the upcoming free workshops. The next workshop is November 29th at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll make sure the link is in the comments or in the show notes. So that all said, let's kick it off with our typical show grounding practice. I'm going to take my hat off with as bad as my hair is. I'm still going to take my hat off. So, hey, if that's not back on, John, if that's not motivation, if that's not motivation for you to watch the video version of this, I don't know what is, but check this bad hair out. Wow. I'm going to kick my flip flops off. It is 60 something degrees outside here in Colorado Springs. And tomorrow it's supposed to be a lot cooler, but hey, I'm rocking flip flops today. So I'm going to kick them off and do my grounding practice. And that's one thing we'll talk about today is grounding and how exciting that is to actually ground and connect with those around us and with everything really as part of the psychedelic therapy retreat. But in this moment here and now, we're going to ground ourselves, get into a comfortable position, whatever that looks like for you. And let's bring your attention to your breath. And we're not going to force anything just yet. We're just going to notice it. We breathe in and out all day long. But how often do we stop and find our breath? How often do we pay attention to the physical sensations of breathing? And how often do we notice how that paying attention helps us to ground? Ground to this time, ground to this place. Connect to this time, connect to this place, connect with that around us and those around us. One of the frustrations that people have with grounding practice or breath work or meditation is they feel that they're too busy, their mind wanders off. That's okay. If you've noticed that your mind has wandered off just in this simple breath work, that is okay. Just bring it back. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get frustrated. Just bring it back. Feel yourself rooting into the ground and feeling that breath, paying attention to that breath. And now let's wrap it up with 2 deep cleansing breaths together. We'll begin. We'll let all our air out, then take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top, and let that out. And we'll do that twice. So let's begin. Breathe all that air out, bringing your navel to your spine. Breathe in deep through your nose. Deep, deep, deep. Hold that at the top. And relax, letting it go nice and slow, 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 nice and relaxed. Another deep breath in. Hold at the top. And relax, letting it go nice and slow, slow, slow. Now, when you're ready, start to bring some movement back into your body. Move your head around. If your eyes were closed, blink them open slowly. Refocus your gaze if your eyes weren't closed. Hopefully your eyes were closed, so you weren't looking at me with this crappy hairdo. I'll throw my hat back on. and here we are. Hey, man, if we're not having fun, what are we doing, man? So we got to have fun with this, right?
I love the reverence you bring to the breathing practice. I got to take the hat off. You know what I mean? It's like pledge allegiance to the flag or something like that. It's like, you know what? It's like we're going to church or something. It's like, you know what? Beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into this retreat, but I'm also excited to get in this conversation because there are definitely some thoughts that I'm having about it, some excited thoughts, excited energy, nervous thoughts, nervous energy, about everything about it. So, yeah.
Well, why don't we start there? Why don't we talk about 2 of the things we're nervous about?
Okay, man. Yeah.
So, or what are you feeling? Or do you want to go another? We don't, because once we start, then we flow. So, is there a certain other place you want to start, John? I'm totally cool.
I'm happy. Let's start with that, man. I guess that was a natural progression, a natural step. So let's start there. So I guess if I break it down into segments, I'm nervous and anxious, I guess, about different parts for different reasons. I haven't traveled out of the country since COVID started. So that in and of itself, aside from the psychedelic journey, the physical journey to another country in this time and place is different. Even just the administrative BS that you have to do in order to fly out of the country to prove that you've been vaccinated or that you have a test or whatever. to fly out of the country and then fly back in. That's one concern, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But I will
No.
tell you, there's a little anxiety around all that BS to make sure I have all my
Same
ducks in a
here.
row, because I don't want to get to Costa Rica and then they turn me away at the customs desk, right?
As you say that, John, I feel like I'm missing something. Like I didn't read an email or something like that, because like I just been preparing it, because I have the same. I have the same things. Like even just coming back into the country, scheduling that COVID test before I come back, and like give it enough time before my flight. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway,
right. Well, they're gonna, I mean, just to ease that for you, they're gonna do it there at the Imaloa Institute for us. That'll be done for the way back, but it's just getting there is the problem. But I think we'll be fine. But again, that's not what we're here to talk about. As far as the retreat itself, I've dabbled with cannabis. I've been microdosing with psilocybin for a while now myself, but I've never taken what is known as a hero's dose of anything. And we'll be taking a hero's dose specifically in this retreat of psilocybin, which is what comes from the magic, quote unquote, magic mushrooms. And, people have had some profound experiences on that, but I'm also actually a little bit anxious. I'm anxious about some of the potential side effects. I've heard of people having nausea and vomiting, panic attacks, bad trips, right? You've heard of people taking mushrooms in the wrong setting at the wrong time with the wrong intention in their head and having bad trips. That is a consideration of mine. I don't want to say that I'm laying awake and in bed at night concerned, right? Yeah. But there's definitely concern there. And then what it's going to bring up.
John, also, let me just say, it's like, you've never had like this. I've never had a complete or like a real mind-blowing psychedelic experience ever, right?
No, not at all.
So I think there is and I say this for you, but also I think there is some anxiety that should be there. Like this is gonna, I'm not saying like, there is gonna be a bad trip, or I think it is setting. I think we're in a really great place. Like we have each other, we have other people that are there as well. And I think that whatever experience I've done, the trust within the group, and I'm sure they're going to create a beautiful ceremonial bonding experience of the group. So it is a nice, safe setting.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's justified. I mean, who knows where it can take you, and,
right.
But I'm really happy that you're doing this. This is like, this takes a lot of courage. Man. This shit is not, some like, oh yeah, I'm just going to like do some drugs or do some, whatever. This is like, you're going to, I mean, from my experience, you're going to view and experience yourself in a completely different way. And that can definitely be disruptive.
That can be disruptive. And there's a part of me that's very much looking forward to that. I've heard of people referring to the death of ego. And I know that's a big one with using ayahuasca or ibogaine, is the death to the ego. And I mean, complete transparency here on the show. There's times I can get pretty egotistical. I try not to, but there's times I can, and I could definitely use probably a little notch, working my ego a couple notches down.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm looking forward to that and viewing myself in a different way, but I'm also anxious about the potential. I put this in the notes for you, Will, that the answers to unasked questions, like they're in my mind. Like I'm sure there are things that I don't even know to ask here on the show, but also like in my mind, questions that haven't been asked ever. And they may pop up in this journey, and what the answers are to those. Am I a good person? Like, will I continue to think of myself as a good person on the flip side of this thing, or going through it? Will I see some things that I have been exposed to in the past that I've kind of blocked out, whether that was from combat or whether it was from growing up or whether it's from my adult experiences, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
are some things going to pop up that I don't want to see again, that I've intentionally blocked.
Yeah.
So there's that concern. But I think I've been doing, even though I've got these concerns, they're going to be mitigated by the set and setting that we talked about, right? We're going to be surrounded by a lot of loving, caring people. That's the setting. We're surrounded. We're safe. And my mindset going into it is going to be one of, I want to experience this so that I can grow, not so that I can have an awesome party or something, right? I don't want to. It's not like I'm going to a rave, which, hey, nothing, whatever. If that's what you want to do, go to a rave. But that's the set and setting is my mindset is right. The setting is right. So that's mitigated, but also the preparation that I know you've been doing, that we've been doing, both for this particular retreat and just in general, the contemplative practices that we engage in, the work that we do regularly. I think that's also going to set me up to be okay, right? I know we talked yesterday with Jesse Good from Heroic Hearts Project, and you mentioned, finding your breath and how important that is when you go into a psychedelic experience, knowing that you have that breath as a constant anchor. Whatever happens, you can continually come back to that breath. So I've been doing that. Been doing some journaling, gratitude journaling. We're going to be doing a lot of time out in nature out there, which I'm very much looking forward to. And that is actually one thing I wish I was able to do more, even here in Colorado Springs, which I absolutely adore. I wish I could do that more here, but having kids, work, school schedules, everything else, it makes it more difficult. Though I guess having kids, there's actually more of an excuse to get out into nature more often. Anyway,
but not alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't been doing that alone. Been listening to some nice calming music. Anything that kind of settles my mind during a meditation or outside of it. Like I've been driving to and from work with the radio on, but specifically listening to music with no words in it. Not listen. I do a lot of listening to podcasts while I drive. I listen to a lot of books while I drive, but I've just been, for the past few weeks, I've been like, okay, turn that off and either drive in silence or drive in listening to some nice music that's going to calm the soul, calm the spirit.
Yeah. Like almost like a transient music.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly, man.
Wow.
So
one thing you said, Judd. Well, yeah. I'll talk about what my anxiety and whatever is going up with the retreat. But I think one thing you said that about like one things I want to see, right, or things I want to see, or do I want to see these things? But also, I think, it is psychedelic because you will see things, like you'll see stuff like move and do whatever. But the feeling, like I think I have never taken. So one thing that I'm kind of a little anxious about is I've never taken a hero's dose of psilocybin. Like I kind of the summer of 2019, I did a lot of mushrooms, just like, but fun, like just like, like I guess microdosing, maybe a little bit more, maybe a gram or two here or there, and just having fun. It's like, there's a certain, from my experience with psychedelics, with mushrooms, as you go up the amount of psychedelics that you ingest at one time, it starts to, at a micro dose or even a small, maybe 1 gram or less dose, it just gives you a nice little bliss bump, and it just kind of, makes your day a little bit more cheery and a little bit more happy and joyful. But as you go up into greater amounts of it, like, I don't know what's going to happen. So, I've done ayahuasca before, which is another plant medicine, another psychedelic, but different. My anxieties are facing myself in this experience. Like I feel like I'm at a very pivotal point in my life right now. With a lot of things, like, my relationships are changing. My relationship to myself is changing. My work is changing, considerably. And I just have some anxiety around that, because it's just like, what's it going to look like from a year from now? But also like that, I guess I bring that up because, am I going to be able to greet the challenge? And I think this experience will help me just to understand myself on a deeper level, so I can be, that a greater force for myself, but also, for the stuff that we continually believe in, we continually teach, the things that we want to bring into this world, or I want to bring in this world too. But, a lot of this has to do with you and the show. There's, I'm a little nervous about, meeting you for the first time. It's just fucking,
man,
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like, fuck, dude, I'm going to meet Jon. I hope he likes me in person. You know what I mean? There's no reason why he wouldn't,
This may be the end of Men Talking Mindfulness.
I know. Oh, fuck, Jon, you just jinxed us, dude. What are you doing? Positive vibes
Hardly.
only.
No
Just
way,
kidding.
no way.
No. I'm a little, when I'm in and having, these experiences, I just don't know what's going to come out. And, I'm just getting already just kind of emotional, just thinking about like what, I've done the psychedelics before, but, you face, like, from my experience, there's a moment where you can go or not go. You can fight it, and that's usually lends into kind of one of my experience, kind of into a bad trip, right? Or you can flow with it and breathe with it, come back. One thing that Jesse said yesterday, which is so, I was like, oh, if I have my breath, I'm good. He's like, yeah, come back to the body. And I was like, oh,
Right.
That's a great way to explain it. Instead of like getting, energetically wrapped up into our feelings, which are energy, our thoughts, which are energy. How can we physically get back into our body? And then like kind of inhabit, this body and expand into that ride. So, and I've talked about that before. I mentioned it as like hitting the abyss and falling into the abyss, which just can really feel, can be very profound. So that always makes me a little bit nervous, but it's nice to know that for me, that I have my breath and I know how to use my breath, and I've used my breath a lot during the psychedelic stuff that I've done before, and it really makes a really big difference. I'm a little nervous. Traveling, yes, like it's going to be a little nerve wracking. Just getting out here on time and trying to get back on the flight, the COVID stuff. I have a friend who's coming down from New York. Not like I'm nervous about him going, but I think part of it is, Jon, it's like I just, really being seen, and allowing myself to be seen. Not like I hide, I mean, I guess there are ways that I do, but it's just like to really be present, to really be open and vulnerable. And then it's like, I guess the anxiety comes like, oh, am I going to be accepted when I'm so wide open? Because I really want to, I just want to have that experience.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned that one, man. Because in all honesty, I've got that too, and I wasn't planning on talking about it, but you're the one who took that leap of faith and dropped your guard and brave enough to put that out there. But that's absolutely one, right? Like we all, even though we talk about dropping your shield and being open and vulnerable all the time, there's still, no matter what you do, the humanity you walk around, even if it's a thin shield, a thin layer, a thin mask, you still kind of publicly portray something else slightly than who you are, right? And there's definitely a level of concern there. Like if somebody sees who I truly am, are they going to accept me? Because that's a human need, a human desire to be accepted. I think it's one of Maslow's hierarchy needs, is to be truly accepted. And when we shed that shield, when we shed that mask, even the most thin one, are people going to accept us for who we are? And are we going to accept ourselves? Are we going to accept ourselves? And that's a part that's definitely concerning for me. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. You're brave to have said that.
No, I mean, well, it's like, I mean, I've been in the realm before a little bit, and I gotta say, Jon, like I fucking cry a lot. Like, I just like, maybe not within the experience, yes, I mean, typically, but like when we start talking about it, you know, and so maybe going in, but definitely coming out, and definitely, one thing by doing a retreat and doing it in a ceremonial fashion, not like a party fashion, but having an intention setting, which is so important for these psychedelics. Like, I mean, anybody's out there looking to do these things, like read about the power of intention and psychedelics, because stuff can really happen if you're clear intention, clear mind, open heart. And I've come out of these experiences before where I just have these great epiphanies, and really just to share them with other people. I'm just completely, guard is down, tears are out, but it also, I've felt there's no reason to hide, because these experiences in this plant medicine, well, from my experience, they support you in such a way that it's okay to be exactly who you are, where you are, what you're doing. And and it's almost like it's not even like you're protected as much as you're brought forth, and like held up by the world, and like everybody around you, you're kind of like, it just seems to be like, okay, like we're all supporting one another. I mean, I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense there, because I'm just
totally, dude.
from this really
100%.
deep place.
Right.
But and that makes me a little nervous. It's like, I don't know any of these people on the retreat. Like, do I? But what I've experienced, Jon, is by going for it and not holding back. Not only will I give myself the best opportunity to have the best experience possible, but to be seen like that, and to be felt like that, to be heard, it not only makes it feel like, hey, it's okay to be this raw, uncut, vulnerable, unapologetic person, authentic, you know what I mean? But I want to go there, and I'm gonna go there. And I'll tell you what, right now, Jon, like, we're gonna be rooming together and stuff like that.
I know,
when
man.
I ask of you, and as like, kind of tell me to go further when I'm out there, be like, just tell me, Will, go. Be bold and go. And sometimes
do
it's nice
it, bro.
to have that.
I'm gonna do it.
Thank you, dude. Fucking, that's what I need. That's what, because sometimes I get scared. I'm like, oh no, like climbing in my little hole. But that's what this stuff's for. And I'm glad we're doing this together, because we can support each other this way as well.
For sure. And if you're listening to this show and you heard me laughing when Will said raw, uncut, and unapologetic, and you're like, wow, that was a seriously inappropriate time to laugh. The reason the reason I laughed is that's our saying on here on the show, is that Men Talking Mindfulness is raw, uncut, and unapologetic. So I love that he worked that in. But you also, you talked about intention, right? And what our intention is going into this, and I want to talk about some of mine for me personally, for my relationship with my beautiful bride at home, my wonderful children, and then my relationship just in general with everyone around me, and then what else are my intentions. So personally, if you'd spoken to me 3 years ago about psychedelics, I would have said, get away from me, pothead, druggie, weirdo. And even though I'm in the meditation space, right? Even though I'm in the contemplative practice space, I knew I was going that way, but I hadn't really delved into any of this. But now I've done the reading, I've done the research, but I haven't done the experience. And so now I'm looking forward to actually having an experience, so that I can speak with some level of authority on this when someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. Do you think a psychedelic experience, a psychedelic journey, a psychedelic retreat would be good for me? Then I can say, hey, yeah, this is my experience. I can speak with some authority on it, right?
Yeah, great.
And then also help our listeners. We can speak to our listeners about it. I mean, you already can speak with a great amount of authority on psychedelic experiences. I can't, but when we come together as a team, we'll be able to speak in the future as a more authoritative team. But then personally, I think I found a sense of fulfillment and peace through meditation, through living mindfully. Even with those, I feel that there's more of the journey to take. I don't think I've arrived, right? I don't think any of us ever arrive, But I think this is just going to help me to take that journey to the next level so that I can feel even more peace and tap into that more regularly, feel even more fulfillment and tap into that more regularly.
Yeah.
And then tap into creative sides of my brain that I haven't tapped into before. Finding that state of flow, that's that zone, Zen, whatever you want to call it, being able to tap into that and knowing what I can do to get there. And then, I'm microdosing right now on psilocybin, but I plan on continuing to microdose. And I know that if you microdose after a journey, the microdosing can be even more profound. So those are some of the things that are my intention going into it. And I know you talked a little bit about intention there. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Well, you're asking the intention within the retreat, or kind of
the intention going into the retreat, the intention of why are we doing this, right?
yeah,
What is it that we
well,
hope to get out of this?
yeah, that's a great question, and for me, it's like my biggest obstacle, John, has been myself. I mean, it is like,
That's the biggest one, man.
I have a lot of talent. I have a lot of passion. I'm doing a lot of great work in the world. I feel like, I mean, the show is like
Absolutely, you are.
Yeah, thank you. And but there's more in the tank. There's more, or actually, there's more in the tank, but there's there's stuff in the way, to really, for me to really,
you need an oil change.
What's that?
You need an oil change, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like tune up, right?
I need a tune up, but also I need to find fucking, like, I'm only running on 6 cylinders, John, and I have 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just exactly, that's how I feel. So I love to find a couple more of those cylinders. So I could even be more bold and brash and fun, and kind of fuck it, attitude, out there in the world, like, so, and that's why, and honestly, that's like why I do all of this. That's why I practice meditation. That's why I journal. That's continually why I put myself out there with this show, John, because it just, I face myself and I realize, like, what is in the way, and it's only these mental fucking ridiculous concepts in my mind that keep me, small at times, not all the time, but at times. And I think one of my biggest obstacles, John, is trusting myself, and therefore trusting other people, that it's just going to be all going to be okay. It's all going to work out. Just keep putting your best effort forward. We kind of just said briefly before the show how we love our connection because of how the integrity that we have, with our own lives, and then we bring that into the show. That's stuff I want to continue to take with me, but also feel supported by that, and just know that it's okay, again, to be an honest man, to be a good man, to be a mindful man, to be a loving person and compassionate man and patient, and with those attributes, I mean, what can get in the way? Right. Like what can stop us, or me, and us, and the world, because we're bringing this to the world. So those are, like, that's my intention, is to just find that one thing that will help me, just kind of be less, like, fucked up or something like that. I know I'm using a lot of curse words today. I'm reading a book that Seth Hickerson, one of our Everything is Fucked by Michael Manson. Great book, like, really blowing my mind. And it couldn't actually come at a better time than before I go into this psychedelic retreat, because it's all about constructs and how we've been living and stuff. So that's like, and I got one thing that I'm really excited to, let's talk about that. What we're excited to do is, like, I'm really excited to to get out in nature. I mean, I'm really excited to meet you, of course. I've said that a bunch of times already. Get out in nature, like, go on these hikes, get to the beach. One thing for me, and I've been looking for ways in the city to do this, is like, to really sing and use my voice. We're going to be doing some singing down there, you know,
Yeah,
and
that
some
scares
chanting,
me.
whatever it looks like.
Not
Right.
your
Well, yes.
singing. Your singing doesn't scare me. My singing
Yes. Well,
definitely horrifies me.
it does. Right. It does for a lot of people, John. And, you know, I think I like using my voice. I use my voice well, but singing is like a whole nother thing. And it's very freeing. And the last psychedelic experience that I had with ayahuasca, I had an opportunity. I sang a little bit, you know, but not enough. And not necessarily like we're going to be singing on the psychedelics. That might be fucking completely transformative. I mean, they have in the yoga tradition, the throat is connected to the heart. The throat chakra is connected to the heart. So when we sing, we bring more of that heart energy out, and it can be very, you know, mind blowing as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that. And what I was saying earlier, I'm looking to do kirtan here in the city and just sit for an hour and a half on a Thursday night and just get all blissed out on chanting, you know?
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that I'm excited about. I'm excited to bring my buddy Matt down there. We're going to have a great time. I'm really excited to see this place. Imiloa sounds fantastic. And those are some of the things that I'm very excited about right now.
Yeah.
Well, how about you? Or we can go another direction, John, or something?
Yeah, no, I think, we'll wrap it up with what we're excited about, right? We started with what we're kind of anxious about. Let's talk about what we're excited about in a positive light. I mean, this is all positive, right? I think we're very excited about it all. But yeah, definitely excited about meeting you, excited about getting out of the country for the first time in a long time. I used to travel out of the country regularly. Which reminds me of this terrible shirt that I used to have at the Naval Academy. It was kind of in the Budweiser logo, and it said something about the Navy. It takes us to great places. We get to do great experiences. We get to meet great people and kill them. And I'm like,
oh Jesus!
I know, it's a terrible shirt. Anyhow, I don't know why I went there, but anyway.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Peace and love, John. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So anyway, I'm excited about this place. It looks fantastic. I'm excited about taking a break.
I forget that's what we're doing. You know, in some ways.
Right. Yeah, we're going to be taking a break. Like living in the entrepreneurial space now, and then coming straight out of the military. I'm freaking tired. My mind, my body, even with everything that I do in order to heal and replenish, I'm still worn out, and I just need to take a step back, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm not looking forward to leaving my family, but I think we talk about, take self-care and how important self-care is for yourself, sure, but how important self-care is so that you can care for those that you love. I'm excited about coming back renewed, recharged, and being able to be a better husband and better father for my wonderful bride and my beautiful kids.
And right in time for Thanksgiving too.
Right in time for Thanksgiving.
Time,
so yeah, exactly. Right. So the timing couldn't be more perfect, right? We'll get back, and how much gratitude are we going to be filled with? So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about. I already mentioned excited about meeting you, but also meeting Neil Markey. And I know you're bringing a buddy down there. It's just going to be a bunch of great people. Even if we did nothing else, like we just all went down there and spent time in nature. In an unbelievable location, it would be great for the mind, body, and spirit. But then on top of it, what we're doing with the psychedelic therapy, we're going to come out of there as a group that probably be lifelong friends. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a piece that I've been missing. I mean, I work in an office that's, I don't know, 4 feet by 10 feet, and that's who I see all day long is who I see on my screen. So I've lost my tribe, if you will, from the military, and I'm looking forward to being part of a tribe again. I mean, we're part of several virtual tribes. You and I are, and those are powerful. Those are powerful. But just getting into a tribe with a group again, I'm looking forward to that. So tons that I'm looking forward to, and then bringing that forward to Men Talking Mindfulness and our audience, and hopefully what that's going to do for our audience, both this show that we're doing right now, here and now, the concerns, the reflections, everything that you have to do to prepare for a psychedelic journey, psychedelic experience, and then what we will do after this experience ourselves, what we'll bring to our audience after. So I'm excited about that too, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful trip, John. With
Yes.
36 hours, man, we're leaving. And if you're listening, if you listen on I guess that's like, I say that present tense, right? In future tense, if you're listening now, like we're already there. We're already doing this. And
we're
John,
time traveling.
What can mess all this up is there's a full moon on Friday night.
Oh, yes.
Who knows what's going to happen down there?
Who knows, right? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up, man. If you have any last closing thoughts, and we'll do our closing practice and call it done. This is one of our shorter episodes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. Nothing to really close. Like, I just want you to hold me to being bold, John. You just
guarantee it, bro.
Give me that. All right,
guarantee
done.
it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's all. I want to put it out there one more time for the world to hear.
Yeah, accountability, man.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk about this on the flip side, and I'm a little, excited and anxious we're going to be doing little, hopefully, responsibly with the retreat, little video clips and audio, or so it'll be kind of fun to
mini
have that
episodes
reflection.
or something.
Yeah, a mini episode or something like that. So, but I think we're good, John. I've got nothing else, unless you have anything else that you want to share.
No, man. Let's do our. I'll take my hat off again for the finishing grounding practice, and then we'll call it done, man.
It's like the pledge to Men Talking Mindfulness. Get ready, everybody.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you're not watching, I encourage you to tune into the video episode so you can see this beautiful hair.
Well, my beautiful hair, and I don't know what the hell you're doing over there. I have a good hair day, John. I'm rocking it. I didn't want to say it before, but this is really nice. Anyway,
well, I'm looking forward to having a Men Talking Mindfulness hat to cover this up with.
Well, yeah. Good, everybody. All right, let's go. Let's close this out. All this excitement, this enthusiasm. Thanks for joining us today. So good. Get yourself grounded with your feet on the ground, or make contact with maybe you want to bring one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, or both hands across your chest, and feel your heartbeat. We're just going to simply work. We'll do 5 breaths, right? Inhaling 5, exhaling 5. This is a coherent breathing technique. This is actually James Nestor talks about in his book, and how this the coherence occurs between, after we continually breathe like this, it brings our lungs and our heart in the same rhythm, and really helps us to ground down and get deeper into that rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. So, and you can use it anytime you can use this breathing technique. So find that seat, or close the eyes if you're driving, or what if you're doing something else right now. You can breathe as we are and continually do what you're doing, unless you're speaking. Okay, exhale the breath all the way out. Okay, we're going to breathe into the nose for 5, 4, 3. Good. And exhale easy. 5. Good. Inhale again. 5. Exhale 5. Good. And really go smooth with these breaths. Inhale again, smoothly for 5, 4, easy in, 2, 1. Exhaling very deliberately out. 5, slowly. 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll keep going. Inhale, easy. 5, but make it big. Proactively creating a big balloon in your torso. Stop and let that balloon go. Exhale, easy out for that 5. Right? Good. And we got one more. Inhale, 5. Exhale, 5. Good. And just take a moment here. Come back to a normal, smooth breath. Feel how you're feeling. Thank yourself for tuning in today, and just being present, listening, and growing as you listen. Good. When you're ready, open your eyes if they're not already open. And Jon, thank you, Jon. I will meet you,
brother.
in Costa Rica.
Let's do this. Let's do this. We'll see you soon, brother. Thanks for another great episode. And for those of you watching, listening, thank you for tuning in. Please share this with your friends, family, colleagues, whoever you think needs to hear this, whoever you think needs to see this. And that reminds me, next season, when we shift to season 4, starting in January of 2022, which is crazy. I can't believe we're there. We're going to be streaming this on YouTube exclusively. So make sure you join our YouTube channel. It's named, much like the show, Men Talking Mindfulness. So thanks all and have a great day. Take care.
Peace. Thanks, Jon.
Thanks for joining Will and Jon on Men Talking Mindfulness. If you enjoyed the show, please like and share it with your friends and family, and please, we would appreciate a review too. Until next time, this has been Men Talking Mindfulness. Thanks for showing up.